We here, nigga. Realest niggas by landslide. Show enough, I'm about to blow up, cause I'm tired of walking around landmines. Rap savior, hellraiser, don't worry, nigga, I claim both. One nigga that's unsigned, that's off the chain. Chain go.
Cincinnati go to Dallas and lose to Cooper Rush. What sense does that make? But man, that leads to our topic about the parity of the NFL and how teams are being a lot more competitive than we expected them to be. Like, let's just go through the upsets. We see a Colts team get shut out by Jacksonville. We see week 1, we see Chicago go beat San Fran, who a lot of people have San Fran in the easily in the NFC Championship. Now it might have changed now with Jimmy G back at the helm. What are the upsets? We see Cincinnati get dominated by Dallas without Prescott.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Will Cooper Rush be the starting quarterback for the Cowboys?
Man, I'll say no. Cooper Rush been in the NFL for, what, 6 years now? 4 or 5?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So teams don't value Cooper Rush like that. Teams have had multiple opportunities to go get him if they believed he had the talent to lead a team. I don't think he unseats Dak Prescott. If you go look at Prescott statistically and win total, he wins games. That is the biggest problem is they can't get out their own way. Whether it's poor coaching, poor draft picks, poor execution in certain key moments, and that's been that way for the last 20 years. So a lot of times I feel like people are always trying to say, "Oh well, we're doing well with this player. Let's put him in." As soon as you put him in, you don't get those same results, and we see that a lot of times across the NFL. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. If Cooper Rush goes 4-1, let's just say he goes 4-1, 5-1, and Dak comes back. Do you think Dak gets his job back?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Cooper Rush probably gonna definitely lose a few games, but when it comes to the Cowboys, like, I can't even remember in my lifetime the Cowboys even winning. So when they did win, we were probably all tolerant.
Yeah, their last championship came in the 90s, so I want to say 95.
But like, as far as the NFL is concerned, man, like, it's definitely a lot of parity going on. But like, when it all goes back down to it, like, all the key factors are factoring in when it comes to like being successful in the NFL, and it all starts in the trenches. It starts with coaching, and it starts with quarterback play, and those 3 factors pretty much determine most outcomes of most football games when I look at it from a football perspective. So, like, when you look at the Cowboys, they got dominated because they got dominated in the trenches.
All right.
When you look at the Cowboys, they are unsuccessful because the owner wants a puppet as a coach, and normally the coach is not coaching. It's Jerry Jones coaching. It's not. They have that issue there. That's what you mean by getting in their own way. Like, it's pretty much a clown show. It's pretty much, until Jerry Jones can get out the way, the Cowboys will never get it done because they won't hire the appropriate coach to get the team to where they need to be.
Right. I agree with that.
And as far as the NFL, just in its totality, like, we got a bunch of upsets, and like how you mentioned Jacksonville, like, they have better coaching now. Like, Doug Peterson is a Super Bowl winning coach, and now as a result, Trevor Lawrence is looking much better. Same with Justin Fields. Like, I had to have a discussion with Edwin. Like, I didn't beat Justin Fields up too much for the loss against the Packers. They had an impressive win against the 49ers in week 1, but they struggled against the Packers. But if you look at it closely, they ran the ball effectively. Justin Fields didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't do much offensively. But the Packers have a top 5 defense. I mean, I'm trying to cut him some slack. He's battling 2 stigmas. Ohio State quarterbacks never pan out in the NFL, as we know. And the Bears never had a franchise quarterback ever.
That was black.
No.
That was black.
Or white.
They've never had a black franchise quarterback.
Or they never had a franchise quarterback.
Jay Cutler?
Hey, I got a live comment. Chris said quarterback success is totally due to the trash in his Cincy line.
He said quarterback success is due to what?
No. The Cowboys' success was due to the trashiness of Cincinnati's line.
I agree. Cincinnati
trenches.
spent a lot of money on their offensive line, but they need to go take all that back.
But I'm not gonna say that.
Why?
Not real quick, because I mean, offensive line got a jail. You can't sign like everybody can't do what the Chiefs did.
In the words of Shannon Sharp, you're gonna get your quarterback killed. He's on pace for 109 sacks.
I agree, but from a talent perspective, they got Capel from the Bucks. They got Collins from the Cowboys. Like from a talent perspective, they are better. They just need the jail. Just give it a little time.
That comes down to coaching, bro. Like,
I mean, that does have something to do with coaching. Like Zach Taylor. I mean, other than Joe Burrow being nothing past spectacular, Zach Taylor has done nothing, in my opinion, to show that he's a very good coach in the NFL.
Zach Taylor just went to a Super Bowl.
But that's because of Joe Burrow. Can you not say some people can overcome bad coaching?
Yeah, he can, but I don't think Joe Burrow can overcome bad coaching.
He did.
He didn't.
He got sacked 70 times and still made it to the Super Bowl.
Okay, give Zach Taylor,
Taylor
some credit.
I'm giving Joe Burrow credit for standing upright and getting to the Super Bowl. Get sacked that many times. Like most quarterbacks that get sacked that many times end up being a bust.
So I got a question.
Carr.
Isn't Zach under the same tree from did he come from McVay? Were you on the system with McVay?
I think so.
All right, so we're talking about another hotshot offensive coach.
Another young gun.
Right.
Everybody think it's cool.
Like, he took that team to the Super Bowl. If it's not for Cooper Kupp, they might even win.
Man, I'm telling you,
all you got win for in your coaching career. All you got win is one Super Bowl.
The same reason that they got into the mess is the same reason they lost it. Aaron Donald was able to dominate in the trenches, and that's the reason that they lost.
I agree with that.
Like from a talent perspective, Joe Burrow was the better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. And you know, quarterback play has a bigger factor to me over coaching and over what you can do in the trenches. Not like, but that can be synonymous at some point because you need protection. But at the same time, the Bengals defense was playing lights out. They were hot, and Joe Burrow was playing excellent football, but the line was super trash. Like at the end of the day, it couldn't overcome all of those aspects.
Man, the reason why I say I think it comes down to coaching because you have one group of people who was trash. You bring in another group of people who are much more talented and they still trash. That can't just be a coincidence.
So what are you saying? Are you saying the Bengals coaching staff is not good? I think
whoever the offensive line coach. I'm not saying Zach. I think Zach Taylor's a very good coach, but the offense. My bad. He's in a very good situation. The jury is still out. I'm not saying he's a very good coach, but I'm saying he's at least competent enough to be the Bengals head coach. Now, there's some coaches they need to get the fuck out. Mike McCarthy, like they might be getting my Dallas right now. He really just ain't a good coach.
I don't know. It's tough to say because if you think about Mike McCarthy
had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and got one Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers has been playing so bad in big moments and has not done anything since 2010.
I agree.
Like either the coach or the quarterback has done nothing.
That's the point I'm making.
So who gets the credit?
Hey, they both should. If I'm Green Bay, I'll probably start with Jordan Love. But you know,
like does Mike McCarthy actually does get some credit because Aaron Rodgers hasn't done anything since 2010.
All right. So what if I tell you you're a head coach, you're gonna get for the duration for a period of time, you're gonna get possibly 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna tell me your results gonna be?
That's true. You make a good point right there. But let me ask you this. Based on what you've seen so far, so we can kind of get to the depths of it about this football topic. What are you seeing so far in the NFL to lend you to believe who are the favorites? Because you got teams out there like Philly that's looking hot. Tampa Bay look like to me that defense looks spectacular.
Yeah, I agree.
From every level. From every level, from Vita Vea and Shaq Barrett to the linebacker core, you know what they represent, and the secondary with Davis,
Jamel Dean, and
Wingfield, and you got Sean Murphy Bunting in the slot. That's
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
The NFC top heavy, I don't think Philly.
I don't think they top heavy. I mean, Well, it could be.
I mean, the best teams
because you
that
can't count out the Saints. You can't count out Minnesota. You got all these sub teams.
The
that are
Rams.
pretty good. Well, the Rams probably gonna win the East. I mean the West. They're probably gonna win the West. But Arizona is still a very good team. You got San Fran. So just top to bottom, you got in the South. You got Tampa Bay and New Orleans. That's two teams that probably is going to make the postseason. In the North, you probably only got Green Bay, but Minnesota is creeping up. Minnesota goes to just play Green Bay week 1 and beat them pretty convincingly. Then you got in the West, you got San Fran, Los Angeles, and you got Arizona, who are all pretty good teams. They're going to be right there in the mix. The NFC East is probably going to be a dumpster fire.
No, but they got 2 teams 2-0.
I know. That don't mean much. So is Jacksonville.
But we just discussed coaching. They're
gonna
like Brian Daboll.
Look, I like Brian Daboll, but listen, the Giants are eventually going to fall off due to lack of talent.
But they are talented though.
Where?
If I say it this, if you give me Kenny Galladay complaining about touches already.
He played 2 snaps Sunday.
But let me ask you. But they got weapons.
Who?
They got Tony
Barkley. Tony ain't did nothing since his rookie year.
Sterling Shepard.
I like Shepard.
And they got and Slayton.
They got Danny Dimes throwing them the ball. But you can go out there and throw better than him right now.
Let me ask you this: when you saw how Josh Allen looked as a rookie and how raw he was, to how great he looks now. Like every single year he progressed, and he continued to look better and better and better.
I agree.
Can we say that coaching and Brian Daboll has something to do with that? Can we say
we can.
Maybe
we can.
That the Giants might be a little bit more respectable because the coach is putting Daniel Jones in better positions. Like nobody ever said Daniel Jones couldn't make all the throws, but they just had a bad O-line and then they just had bad coaching because Joe Judge was a bad coach. Ben McAdoo, bad coach. Like, even the GM, bad GM. Like, Dave Gettleman. Like, they had a horrible situation going on around them. Now, I'm not sitting here saying the Giants going to make the playoffs or that the Eagles are going to continue to stay as hot as they look. But when you speak on the NFC East, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to say. So, let me ask you this. For lack of a better question, how many teams do you think are coming out of, like, what division do you think are going to get 2 playoff teams? Like
the West. Only the West. The West may get 3 teams in. The West.
Based on how the Cardinals look so far and how the
Rams
started, they got dominated to start.
Buffalo's probably going to win the Super Bowl. Hey, book it. Buffalo in the Super Bowl. So you think 2 teams coming out the East? The East is over with. I mean, the East is over with.
I think 2 teams come out the North and 2
the South
teams come out
in the South. Go ahead and say the South with me. Come on. Because New Orleans has just as much on defense as the Giants and Philadelphia. Plus, they got better offense. They even got Cho Boy, Chris Olave over.
So who do you think comes out the NFC East?
Philly.
So you think Dallas missing the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Because I'm thinking in my head, like, do Dallas make the playoffs with the defense that they play?
I don't think Dallas made the playoff with Prescott.
Based on the weapons they have?
Yes.
Okay. I can probably agree with that. So
you
think
CD look real
North
good.
Only getting 1 team.
The Vikings will probably compete for a spot. Vikings will definitely compete.
So the Vikings will be competing with whoever the wild card is from the South and the West.
And the West. Yeah.
Well, it is 7 teams.
It's 7 teams.
So
one division could theoretically have 3 teams in, and the other 2 conferences have one.
Well, one other conference will get 1 team.
Right.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
They all gonna be. It's gonna be
I like Minnesota.
It's gonna be a dumpster fire like it was last year. You're gonna have 4 or 5 teams just hovering around 8-8, 8-9, 10-8, somewhere in that window. It all comes down to early season losses or losses you don't supposed to lose, or games you don't supposed to lose. I.e., Arizona playing Las Vegas. You up almost 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and you lose that game.
That's why I don't like Arizona.
I.e. the Cleveland game. Cleveland up 2 touchdowns with a minute and 30 left, and you lose that game. I.e. Baltimore, you up 28-3 to start the fourth quarter, and you lose that game. Like, when you lose games like that, it don't have repercussions right now. It have it down the line when it's time to get in. You be like, damn, I look back over my season, and I realize that we lost some games we weren't supposed to lose to.
So before I ask you a question about the AFC, give me your team that you think, real quick, at the NFC, that you think is the favorite to get to the Super Bowl.
I'm going with Philly. I think Philly is the most complete team in the entire NFC.
With Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
With Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
So let me say. I'm gonna put you to the fire. So if
with
Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and let's say all the teams that you feel like will get out of the NFC, they matched up against. So you trust Nick Sirianni? We just talked coaches. We just talked quarterback.
We just talk rookie head coaches. Huh?
I don't want you to change. We just talked.
I'm not.
We just talked coach, and we just talked trenches. In the trenches, I like Philly.
Philly boasts a top 2 offensive line. They boast a top 10 defensive line. They have arguably one of the greatest running game. One thing we know about NFL, defense travels and the running game travels. They got both. We just seen Darius Slay eliminate
win in the playoffs.
A running game and defense.
No, not in today's NFL. Maybe in 2000. Yeah, with Jamal Lewis and Ray Lewis. Yeah, probably so. No, sir.
Man, when you can play defense, that I understand having a quarterback, but when you can play defense, like that puts a whole new perspective on the game where your quarterback don't have to go out there and throw. I.e. San Francisco, they ran their way to the NFC Championship.
But why did they lose ultimately? Because they had a quarterback that couldn't make the throw.
No, they couldn't guard Cooper Kupp.
No. They had
the lead. They had the lead.
I'm talking about even when San Francisco got to the Super Bowl, they had a quarterback.
I'm talking about last year. Last year they lost with that Cooper Kupp catch. Remember? That's the reason why they lost.
But I ain't gonna just boil it all down to that. It was about quarterback play. Hence why they trying to put Trey Lance in there. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's tough for me to say. But I'm gonna get.
I agree with you. I think quarterbacks are important. However, quarterbacks over what they do, they correct or overshadow things that they're a big ass Band-Aid. So if you got problems on defense, you got problems on your running game, you got problems at the secondary level, anything like that, you expect your quarterback to overcome those particular problems. If you don't have any problems, there's nothing for your quarterback to have to overcome. So you can lean on those other aspects to win, like teams do when they have rookie quarterbacks. That's why teams are always trying to build out their team, why they got a rookie quarterback on a rookie scale, because they just rely on that quarterback to be able to make plays when they need to, not dominate the entire game. Like Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl, if you remember, the defense made several plays for him to get in that position. And then he finally was able to make a play with Tyreek Hill and get into the end zone that prayer he threw up.
A game that they should have lost if the other team had a quarterback that could have made the throw.
That's what I'm saying.
But we'll see if Jalen Hurts can make these throws, because in the playoffs, they're going to shut down the run. And we're going to see if Jalen Hurts can make big plays on. You're
right. But that's what Philly did.
So you believe that he can?
I think he can. That's what Philly did. What did they go do? They go out there and get A.J. Brown. Well, we're talking about at least a top 10 receiver. All right? They got Devontae Smith, who's in his second year. They got Dallas Goedert. His first name Dallas? Is it Dallas Goedert? Mm-hmm. I don't know that first name. But they got who's a very good tight end. They got Quez Watkins, who's a speed receiver. So they got all this weaponry on the outside just in case the running game not working. But nobody says nothing about we're going to stop Lamar's running game.
But they eventually stopped the running game in the playoffs, and then they force him to throw. And he has still yet to prove that he can beat you throwing the football.
He has a playoff win.
But he has still yet to see one playoff win.
He only been in the league 3 years.
But he got one playoff win.
Okay.
But he still got to prove that he can beat you throwing the football. Same as Jalen Hurts. But my pick in the NFC, before we get to the AFC real quick, I don't like to say, but I think it's Tampa Bay based on the defense. And they got
and they
I'm
patchwork
not
offensive
calling-
line, I bet you 5 cases will do.
But we both know. But we both know that the offensive line is gonna get healthy at some point because the center is due to come back, and I think the guard is due to come back at some point. No.
I think
they
Ryan
lost.
Jensen ain't Ryan Jensen.
I think Ryan Jensen is scheduled to come back in
He ain't
like
gonna be
after
back
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, back in December.
But he's coming back at some point.
You right.
But they gonna hold water because the defense has been elite. That defense looks elite, and you cannot argue with it. Like if you just pick the Eagles, and I'm sitting here telling you today, if somebody put a gun in your head and the Eagles were matched up against the Bucks in the playoffs,
I'm taking taking the Eagles.
But you wouldn't feel confident in it.
No, I'm not gonna ever feel confident betting against Tom Brady.
But
I'm betting against Tom Brady.
Even against that defense, like they can match the Eagles. Like, man, they gonna shut that running game down with Vita Vea and Barrett. The thumpers in the middle, they gonna look. That would be tough. So
it'll be a tough
if somebody asked me right now, I would have to go Tampa Bay. I don't like it because I don't like Tom Brady, but I gotta call what I see. I gotta call a spade a spade.
Man, what you got against Tom Brady?
The world believes that Tom Brady is the best quarterback ever.
He's no. He's
That's what people
he's the
believe.
best player ever. Let's go ahead and put him in the go.
I disagree.
How many championships he got? Remind me again. 7.
He got 1 championship on his own. He got 6 via Bill Belichick. Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback ever. I don't care what nobody say. Anyway, let's get to the AFC. In the AFC, man, I like the I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Only because, man, when we talk about the trenches, they got a good offensive line. Probably one of the top in the AFC. When we go with quarterback, they got the best quarterback. When we go with coaching, they got one of the top coaches in the conference. I like Baltimore. I like the Chargers. I like Cleveland. I'm biased towards Cleveland. Now, I'm gonna throw a little caveat out there. If Jacoby Brissett can keep Cleveland afloat, which losing to the Jets this past week didn't help. If we were 2-0, I feel a lot confident about what I'm about to say. But if Jacoby Brissett can keep Cleveland at 500, or
tough
game
task.
above 500,
That's a
6-5
tough
before Deshaun Watson get back.
You better tell Nick Chubb to
I'm
run harder.
going with the Cleveland Browns because I'm biased and I like Cleveland on paper. If you look at the talent on paper for Cleveland, I'll put them against any team in the NFL from a talent perspective. When I look at the offensive line, we have the best offensive line in football.
That's probably true. I agree
We
with
got the best running attack in football
I ain't
via
gonna-
the running.
I ain't gonna
via
say that.
just the running
I
position.
ain't gonna say that, but
not,
go ahead.
I'm not talking running back plus quarterback because if you asking me that, that's the Ravens and the Eagles. But I'm just talking about simply the best running back tandem in the league belongs to Cleveland with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I'm not talking about, but even when we get Deshaun Watson back, that could change because Deshaun Watson is the top 5 quarterback.
So better than Jonathan Taylor and the Colts rushing attack. Better than
It's just Jonathan Taylor. Nakeem Hines. Hines is is more of a pass catching back.
that's fine.
But I'm saying
Better than Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Yes. Nick Chubb is a better thumper than AJ Dillon, and Kareem Hunt is a better catcher and playmaker
Better than Jeff Wilson, Debo Samuel, and who else?
I will put our
touched
rushing attack against
ball
anybody.
in San Fran.
I will put our rushing attack against anybody. And if you tell me that we got
It's top
Deshaun
5.
Watson,
It's top 5.
and with the weaponry we have on the outside with Amari Cooper and Njoku, we got a nice tight end core with Harrison Brown. We lost Hooper. We got a speedster in Anthony Schwartz. We got a nice receiving core, and we got a top defense with Myles Garrett, Clowney, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Harrison Jr., great secondary. I like Cleveland. But if we not what we should be, because I can't blame it because after 11-game suspension, I like the Chiefs because they got the best quarterback and one of the top 5 coaches in the conference. I put him against the Jim Harbaughs and Mike Tomlin. I don't like the Steelers. I don't like that quarterback situation. I don't care who it is. Yeah, I like the Chiefs to come out the AFC over the Bills until I gotta see. I think the Bills lacking in
what?
I just think the coach is not better than the Chiefs coach,
man.
and I just think the quarterback is not better. Like, I mean, as good as Josh Allen is he better than Mahomes?
Josh Allen might win MVP.
Is he better than Mahomes?
He will be this year.
Is he better than Mahomes?
He will be this year.
But answer the question.
I got a question. So Buffalo goes into Tennessee. They goes to Tennessee. No Gabe Davis to start the out with a random ankle injury.
Right.
And what happens? Buffalo puts on a show.
But you just mentioned one receiver.
They
got a ton of weapons.
The other receivers nobody gives Isaiah McKenzie any credit. Nobody gives Dawson Knox any credit.
But we know that
it was
great players.
These players still play. These players didn't do nothing. It was a Stephon Diggs show.
Hey,
12 catches, 140 yards, 3 touchdowns later.
Tennessee leaves a lot to be decided on the defensive end. Should they have gotten romped like that? Maybe not, but they have poor quarterback play.
41-7.
They got poor quarterback play.
They got a top 3 running back, and he got held to like 40 yards.
Who you got out the AFC?
Bills. It's not even close. It's not even close. You're featuring, especially with the addition of Von Miller. So you have a All-Pro player at every level. 3 in the secondary, especially when you get Tre'Davious White back, who did not play last year because of an injury. He only played half the season because of an injury. You got Jordan Poyer and you got Micah Hyde back there. You feature Tremaine Edmonds in the middle as a linebacker. Then you add Von Miller. Oh man, you had to give nothing up to add Von Miller. Then you got wide receivers emerging. You got Gabe Davis, who's taking that next step in year. I think in year 3 now. He's taking that next step. You got Stephon Diggs, who's going to be a top 3 receiver. He's going to be somewhere above 13 touchdowns and well over 1,300 yards. Dawson Knox is a young emerging tight end, and you got Josh Allen back there pulling the trigger on arguably the NFL's best passing attack. Man, it's hard to stop.
You want me to tell you, it's just one thing about the Bills that I just don't trust them. And it's big because in Carolina, Sean McDermott actually did this, and it's run the ball. And
they run the ball. It's a Josh Allen show, though.
I've seen
man.
I've seen Sean McDermott and them ruin Cam Newton's career because they were running Cam Newton too much. They are running Josh Allen too much. He can throw better than Cam Newton could. Now,
but
these are the necessary throws. Now, it's a different setup than Carolina, but this same MO is kind of making me fear that they don't run the ball as like he did when he was in Carolina. He do with the quarterback, but not with the running backs. So it kind of makes me believe that they just too unbalanced to me to get to the Super Bowl. Like, in order to beat the Chiefs ultimately, and in order to come out the AFC, I feel like you got to kind of keep away from, because there's so many elite quarterbacks. And the team that got to the Super Bowl ultimately in this past season was the Bengals, because they was able to run the ball with Joe Mixon. Like,
but the Chiefs can't run the ball neither.
But when all things are almost equal, and you got all these young quarterbacks, because we can all say this. So you basically saying, I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the division, but it's not by a wide margin for me to say that these other teams shouldn't be utilizing the running attack to kind of keep the ball away from the others. Because Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen are all not far, or if not on the same tier as Patrick Mahomes, but I just feel like Patrick Mahomes is better. But they're not that far off. Wouldn't you agree? Like, as far as from a talent perspective. So when talent equals in certain situations, same as when you got the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady era, you had to start looking at other factors. Why did Peyton Manning never beat Tom Brady in those early years? It was because other factors played into the mold. Defense from Bill Belichick. It was the running attack from the Patriots. It was other factors you got to factor in when things are comparable quarterback wise. Same for Phillip Rivers. Like in those early days, you have to kind of factor those things in. Like with Ben Roethlisberger, he was able to win when he got to a certain level because the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers and things like that. So I'm looking at this young crop and I'm looking at other things. That's why I brought in coaching from Andy Reid, and I bring in the trenches and things like that. Like I think the Bills have a lot to prove. I don't disagree that from a talent perspective, they are the favorites. Like, they got the best team on both sides of the ball. But I do think that the Chiefs got a slight edge as far as, like, their coaching and quarterback play. Will that come into play? Like, will the talent prevail over that? It's possible. But I don't know.
Yeah, my only problem is, we probably wrap it up. We will wrap it up with your best bet of the day. We do a small little segment on sports betting. The MO's out on how to beat the Chiefs. We're going to play shell, man-to-man, shell 2, man-to-man, and we're going to force Patrick Mahomes to have to drive down the field. The MO's out. So teams that are able to do that and they can still apply pressure on rushing forward, that's Philadelphia's Achilles. That's the Chiefs' Achilles heel. Like without Tyreek, they're going to struggle in that area because now they're relying on Mika Hardman and Juju Smith-Schuster to be able to get those hidden yards where you catch a screen pass or something like that. You're able to break a tackle or make somebody miss. Those receivers now, they don't got that. They don't got that Tyreek Hill ability. So now, Patrick gonna have to drive a lot more than what he used to do, and their rushing attack is not that good. So I feel like Buffalo's gonna have the upper hand because while Devin Singletary ain't amazing, he's at least serviceable, and Josh Allen is going to average somewhere between 50 and 60 yards rushing. The difference between Cam Newton and Josh Allen is that Cam Newton's runs was designed. They're really not designing a lot of rushing for Josh Allen. It's him going off script when the opportunity presents itself. But I agree with you that they do run too much. But, hey, he going to lead the league in passing.
I don't know. It's interesting because, like, if Buffalo actually ran the ball, they could actually get to the Super Bowl because the Chiefs throw too much. And
I agree.
And they don't run the ball enough. So, but Buffalo doesn't run either. So it plays into the Chiefs' hands to actually still give them a chance.
But Buffalo has more weaponry and they have a much better defense. So that helps.
Yeah, they did last year. It still did weird. So, hey, all I'm saying is this. Buffalo, on paper last year, was this same team.
No.
Minus Von Miller.
They have Von Miller.
But were they favored?
What? No, they wasn't favored to win that game.
In the playoff?
They wasn't favored to beat Kansas City. Kansas City was like a 2-point favorite that game.
But why?
Because it's Patrick Mahomes.
But it was no other reason for them to be favored.
And they're playing Kansas City. You gonna get 3 points just for playing with your home.
I think it was in Buffalo.
I think that's in Kansas City. It might be in Buffalo. It might have been in Buffalo. You might be right.
I think Buffalo had.
Yeah. You're right. It wasn't.
It was no reason. Hey,
it was a coin flip. They couldn't stop one another. But this shit gonna be different. Watch. But let's wrap it up with because I think we're getting towards the end. And I like doing a little sports betting. So, you got any best bet? One singular bet that you would bet on this particular Sunday, or Saturday? No matter.
Man, I haven't even looked at the matchups really. I know we got a game Thursday night. What's that matchup?
That Thursday night game is Dolphins play Bengals. I mean, my bad. That's not it. It's Steelers Browns.
I'll go Cleveland. Are we at home?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go surefire bet. Man, if I know anything if I had to go surefire bet on Thursday nights, you can bet your bottom dollar that the home team normally wins. So on short weeks, I'm going with Cleveland.
All right. My best bet for the weekend would be Baltimore. I think Baltimore, they're favored by 2.5. I think they're going to come out hungry after that embarrassing comeback they give up. They play Patriots. After that embarrassing, they play in New England. So I think they come out with a win there.
But are the Patriots favored?
Yeah. No, Baltimore favorite. 2.5.
So that means it's pretty much a coin flip still. You can pretty much say, like,
I mean, home team get 3 points. So basically, if they were playing in Baltimore, they'd be a 7-point favorite.
Nah, 5.5.
Probably 6.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Probably 6 point favorite. But yeah, man, that's it on that.
Hey, join us again for Hot Takes on UNCORK'D, where we uncorking all the good news.
And we're going to chime in much more on these sports topics, man. We definitely got to get it in a little bit more.
Yeah, but we're going to try to have our own little segment every now and then, whenever Jones permits us to have our own little section.
Yep. Or just me. I promise you. I can fill in out an hour's time talking about sports.
But till next time, y'all, we out.